Welcome. 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 I do a live stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today be Monday, so I'm here. We're going to talk about something that's not that fun, but it impacts all of us. You ever been to the Great Barrier Reef? I never have. Can you really see it from space? What is the only thing you can see from space? It's man-made, isn't it? It's like an oil pipeline. Great. Oh, how it all relates. Uh, Welcome. I do a live stream show every weekday. We talk about news, make some commentary, have some sarcasm. And if you like getting your news from independent sources and having some, hey, what's up, Kevin? And having some fun, some chit chatter, some discussion while we talk about the news, then this is the place for you. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Okay. Tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow I can't put 1:30, so I'm going to put 1. I'm going to create the post later. So if you want to join up tomorrow, we're speaking with Doreen, who is out in Paris, France. I'm going to talk about Olympics. I want to know about Halloween in France. Like, is it as big as it is here in America? And where I live in Salem, I mean, the whole month is Halloween. But I also want to know, like, is there a Target on every corner in the suburbs of Paris, France? Because I feel like America, it doesn't matter where you go in this country, it all looks the same outside the scenery. Wherever you go in America, it's all the same. Just the landscape changes. It's all Walmart, Target, Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Walgreens, Albertsons, or Stop and Shop. That's it. Vaughn's or Albertsons, Publix or Stop and Shop. That's the only thing that changes. The food inside's the same. It has different labels. It's all the same from the same company. I want to know. I'm curious to how they rock it in France. So tomorrow we speak with Doreen at 1:30. I'm going to put 1 o'clock. So make sure you join up, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you got any questions, throw them not only in the chat, but leave them in a comment. Put a couple of posts up. So if you got questions about France, like, I don't know, does anybody else wonder that? Maybe everybody else has been to France where they watch French live streamers. And they're like, yeah, of course they have Targets on every corner. Of course, Target is eroding the culture in France too. We used to have cool cities here in America. Now everything is generic. God damn. So I'm going to talk with Doreen tomorrow. And I want to talk some paranormal stuff. The city she's from is very interesting. The Lumiere brothers. That's their hometown. People who created movies, or what we now know as modern day movies. So I'm going to speak with Doreen tomorrow, who's in France. If you got any questions, leave them in the chat, leave them in a comment. I really want to know, like, what do they do for Halloween? And do their stores start putting Halloween stuff out in July? Because, I mean, we had Halloween candy out in July here, and it's just out of control. So that is tomorrow. The first interview from the live stream. That's cool. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we have a good discussion. I'm going to talk about the Olympics too, because she was there when the Olympics happened, what it was like before, and what the Olympics left. In case your city might be wanting to court the Olympics, Doreen will break it down what to expect when the Olympics abandons ship and leaves town. Do they just leave all their trash there like it was a Mr. Beast video, you know? Or what do they do? Is it really an investment for the city? Does it help the city? Giovanni De Parma. I say Tim Waltz. That's who I pick out of that. All right. We got to talk about this news. First, and I always put the links down in the description in case you want to read these stories later, which I highly encourage you to. That's why I talk about them. I think they... what I talk about on this news live stream, news commentary, please hit subscribe. Damn, love your eyes, man. Samuel, thank you. I love your eyes too. I can't see them, but maybe do a live stream and then we'll compare eyes. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Trying to crack 1,500. We're at 1,450 something. So if you could help me out, trying to catch up to Philly DeFranco. He's the biggest news commentary channel on YouTube. He's got like 7 million subs. Yeah, I'm not at 1,500 yet, but I believe we can get there. We can get to 7 million. Must carry your tampons in your truck. Silly. I don't have a truck. We're going to talk about the environment anyways. And like I say, if you're going to troll me, you better know me. You better bring some better heat than that, Giovanni de Parmigiana. Come on, man. Carry my tampons in my truck. That's what you come with? That's the heat you're bringing? Please. Come on. Think of something better. All right. So, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Giovanni, you better hit that notification bell so when I go live, you can come back and bring something funny. Maybe, you know, hire some people to help you write your insults or your trolls or whatever you're doing. And if you do this on the regular, I'm very disappointed in that comment. Josh Bogard. That's it, Josh. You better go live. I want to come to your channel and tell you to shut up. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Links down below. We're going to talk about Boeing. Boeing, you know them because their planes have doors fall off mid-flight. They're not that good at flying, but seems to be like they are really one of the only plane makers, which is concerning. You know, you'd want it if you've gobbled up all the competition here in America. You make not only the spaceships but also the airplanes in the country. You'd hope that they were really good at it. Well, they like to cut a little bit of. Can I get a? You can, but I don't like that name, so no. But Boeing, man, that's the other thing about capitalism in America. As soon as they get big enough, they buy out all the competition. And then once there's no competition, there's no one to challenge them. The free market doesn't exist. It's just a monopoly. And what happens is they cut corners. They do stock buybacks. They basically have plants in the government to skirt around safety issues and all that stuff. And they self-regulate and police themselves. So we get these really lousy, huge, too big to fail companies, right? But the one good thing, the one way to fight back, if you're young or you maybe, no, 100% not, blue cars. In fact, if you're a racist, you guys can get the fuck out of here. There's my thoughts on that. So if you're racist, skedaddle. See you later. Don't want you to subscribe. Don't click the notification bell. Just to be very, very clear. Because I don't deal or tolerate with that. I'll put you in timeout for 24 hours. If you are racist and you are in here, get the fuck out. YouTube, I'm sorry, I gotta say it like that. Because racists, get the fuck out of this country. Get the fuck out of my live stream. Is that clear? Make it 72. If I could, they'll only give me 24 hours. See you later. I don't tolerate it. I don't deal with it. And here, let's put it like this. If this is what you guys, if you guys come to live streams just to try to spout racist stuff, you're the most insecure little boys, and I know you're boys, insecure little boys on this platform. Stole my bike in grade school. I hated you then, I hated you now. I don't steal bikes, so we know that's not true. No, I'm not giving them what they want. What I'm doing is I'm setting a clear precedent, okay? Because there's an issue in America right now, and we'll talk about the Great Barrier Reef, and we will talk about Boeing and unionized workers, but there's a huge issue in America right now. And one of them is a lot of people decided racism was not a deal breaker. That they want to play both sides of the fence. And just frankly, if you're sitting on a fence, then you know what that means. You got nothing in between your legs. So if you're fence sitting and you're like, I just don't want to offend the racist or there's good people on both sides, let me be very clear, there are not. Just like any motherfucker that raises the Confederate flag, you're a traitor to America. You understand that? You understand what that flag symbolizes? And I know, I want to get big like the Philly DeFrancos or the whoever the fuck it is. But the thing is I'm old. I've seen some shit. Okay? And let me be very clear to you young heads, because I'll put you in check in person too. I have no problem doing that. I don't tolerate racism. I don't deal with it. It's a deal breaker for me. I can't read all this. Back in high school, this chump used to steal everybody's burgers and eat them. You guys are such losers. It's so sad too. Like, that's what these people are doing, I'm very old. I'm very old as McCannon. I love that name. But here's the thing. I don't tolerate it. I won't tolerate it. And I'll take time to call it out. Why? Because these guys are losers. The worst part is they're just very insecure. I don't know if they're all incels and they don't hang out with women or other people or what it is. But if you're going to come in here and spout racism, I will take the time to not only, put you in timeout, but call you out. Say, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit who you're voting for. Listen, if you're voting for Trump, what that says to me, not only is that like racism isn't a deal breaker for you, but what we're going to talk about is Boeing, right? Boeing just gave their workers, 32,000 of the unionized workers, a 25% raise. Now, the workers were threatening to go on strike. They wanted a 40% raise. That's the bargaining chip, right? That's the bargaining end of this deal, is that they wanted 40, they got 25%. Now, the thing about Trump is he's anti-worker. He's claimed to be pro-union and all this, but when he threw that union little thing that he did, I don't even know what you call it, the faux gathering, he hired pretend union workers and pretended to give a speech like they supported him. Trump was just recently on a call, an interview with Elon Musk, where they both bragged. There's lawsuits against both of them right now, because Trump was complimenting how when Elon Musk breaks the law and fires striking workers, Trump said he admires that. He loves how he does that. So the thing is if you're for Trump, just know you're against the working class. And if you get up and go to work every day, you're working class. So you're fighting against yourself. Trump wants to give Seuss, we all know that you didn't get no escort pregnant. Let's be honest. You can't afford an escort. So Trump, what it says to me is when you say, I support Trump, the biggest thing is if you work for a living, it just says to me like you're not that bright, because Trump is doing everything he can to gut your rights as a worker. And he celebrates, and not only does he give tax cuts to the rich and he hikes them up on you, but he loves when workers' rights are violated. Like, those are his words. And I want to give a shout out to all the Boeing workers, because being part of a union is not only the way to combat all of the negative stuff that's going on in America, but it works because people have power when they're together, right? And can you imagine trying to go for a 40% raise just by yourself? Like, that's a 40% raise is a good raise. It doesn't matter what you're making, because compared to what you're making, that's almost, half more. But Boeing, to avoid the strike, to avoid their workers going on strike on September 13th, again, links down in the description. To avoid the strike, Boeing just gave in and said, we'll give you a 25% raise. 25% raise. I don't know if anybody has been in corporate America for too long, but usually they like to do a 2 to 3% a year, which is just bullshit. I mean, that doesn't even keep up with inflation rates, right? At that point, you're losing money on inflation every year. But I want to give a shout out, because if you're not in a union, unionize. And if this is not like just definite proof, Boeing just caved in, said, we're not going to meet you at 40%, but we'll give you a 25% raise. Again, you don't believe me? Go and read that link in the description. It's incredible. I love seeing it. I think more people need a union. If you don't know about unions, look them up. They're just workers coming together. If you don't have a union, start one at your work. You can start one at your work. It's a federally protected thing. In the 1930s, FDR really fought to put these things in place to have our rights as workers protected by the National Labor Relations Board. Even though they're a toothless organization, Trump really wants to gut them. And Elon Musk is suing to say they're unconstitutional. So that's where those people stand. Jesse James, listen, I don't doubt that there is some crooked union stuff, but are you really going to try to shit on getting a 25% raise? Really? Like, I know it's not the 40%, for real. I don't know how Timothy Mnemonic, great name. How is Boeing still a company with all the innocent lives? Well, how they're still a company is because America, because the government doesn't do anything to regulate them, because they have so much money, they've just bought their way to be the only fucking, like, can anybody name another big, huge airplane manufacturer or space shuttle manufacturer? They become so big, the government's dependent on them. They want to regulate themselves, and they don't do it, so there's just no repercussions. I say if people die on their watch, send the CEOs to jail, right? I don't understand why if somebody's caught stealing, they say send them to jail. That will teach them. But if people die, their customers die from negligence, that's what this was, right? The safety recalls, there are whistleblowers coming out. If people die on that, why aren't we arresting the CEOs? The people who, on their watch, they failed to do what was required of them. I say we start doing that. And I think in Australia, I got to find the article, because I think it's in Australia is starting to push forward legislation where they can have the CEOs on the hook. I don't know if it's Australia or where in the world, but some countries are starting to push for putting the CEOs on the hook. Because listen, we want to clear up this problem. If they think it works for poor people, I say do it for rich people. And trust me, once some wealthy CEOs start going to prison for their pure negligence running a company, the other ones will pay attention and we'll have those safety checks in no time, right? They're 100% a monopoly. Down for anything that benefits the working class. There we go. Personnel, 9321. Hello. The other thing I want to talk about briefly, because we had a sidestep with some racist, insecure little boys in here, but I'll always take time to address them. Always. You got to call it out. I teach my kids that too, and I should say that on the live stream. If there's racism around, don't stay quiet, okay, folks? When people are acting racist, do not stay quiet. That's one of the times where you let them know where you stand, because if you stay quiet, you're essentially being complicit, and I refuse. And I hate seeing that Confederate flag. The Great Barrier Reef. There's an article today. Again, link down below. Hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. Unless you're a racist, then go fucking kick rocks. This article is really depressing because it says the Great Barrier Reef has been dealt, it's a death blow. There's a top climate scientist that says this past year, the reef was bleached 80%, which oh, don't freeze, come on. There we go. But whatever is going on with the Great Barrier Reef is devastating. It's nothing I've ever been able to see. I've never been to Australia. I don't think I want to go, only because of the snakes and spiders and everything that could kill you. Plus, it's like a long trip. But to think that something so huge, Great Barrier Reef is absolutely a monster of a living being, right? All that coral's alive. That's devastating. And when you just think, like, for the people who don't believe that the climate is changing, whatever, I've been saying this for like a decade. It's only because my buddy Dave in college, we would get in the elevator. I say, if you don't believe the climate can change, then go in an elevator, a closed space with a lot of people, and have one person fart. And tell me it doesn't get hotter in there, it stinks worse, all these things. That's why always climate just made sense to me of it changing once you added more people, right? It's just basic common sense shit. My buddy Dave in college, every time we would get out of class, get in that elevator, he'd wait for it to fill up and then just fart. And he would just stay quiet and smile. And it was so angering, and he'd do it all the time, but it would get hotter. People would, it was just the whole climate, the elevator changed. God bless Dave for teaching me science. But when that stuff happens, there are ripple effects, pun intended, with the barrier reef and water. But there are ripple effects that happen all across, and I shudder to think what the ripple effects, and smarter people than I will be able to tell you. But if that barrier reef, such a big living organism, goes, what is the ripple effect of what's next? What gets affected from that? It's scary. And this is a good read, this article down below, I'm telling you. Comes out of New Zealand, and God knows I love New Zealand. I've always said New Zealanders have the #1 accent for comedy in the world. There is no funnier accent. In fact, I only know New Zealanders that are hilarious, mostly from TV, but I don't think I could speak with a New Zealander. They could be telling me like both their parents died in a car accident. I'd be like, you are fucking hilarious, man. That accent is just so ripe for comedy. There's not a better accent for comedy. And you could be so dry and witty. Oh, check out Flight of the Conchords. Great show. Yeah, so this Great Barrier Reef story is haunting. I wanted to share it with you, wanted to get it out there, share it with your friends. Maybe you're a scientist, maybe you're young and you want to be a scientist so you could save the world. What bums me out about all this is like, at what cost? Like, what is it truly going to cost us to just change stuff? Like, if we just change, like, it doesn't cost us, you and me, the working class, much. Like, we are kind of, victims to the system. Like, we only get to choose of what these corporations and what these major, huge companies have already decided for us. We don't truly have any free choice. We have choice within a system. What flavor Doritos do you want? That's our freedom of choice. But really, us as a people, we need to like pressure, because we got windmills here in Massachusetts, and they're not cancer causing, and they're not an eyesore like, any kind of oil refineries or nuclear power plants. But there's got to be a way. And for me, I go just like, what do we got to lose? If we transition to something greener, if we transition to something better, like, what's the worst that can happen? We don't kill the planet? Oh, profits won't be as big? Like, that don't affect me. I don't care about your profits. What I care about is being able to go see an orca whale someday in the Pacific Northwest. That's what I give a shit about. And if we don't come together on this, man, oof. Sad. Man, that's just a bummer. I didn't mean to bring us into a bummer. What a bummer live stream today. My apologies, everybody. Bunch of racists in here in the beginning. Now we're talking about the earth dying off. I promise you when I say the live stream usually isn't this solemn. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk with Doreen, who's out in France. The Paris Climate Accords. And no country's like on par for that. But we're going to talk about the Olympics. We're going to talk about Halloween in France. Talk about some food, talk about our hometown, talk about a bunch of things. Clean air, water, food should be a human right. It should be. You're right, Timothy Mnemonic. 100% I agree with that. So listen, I'm going to wrap this up today, but tomorrow, 1:30, join me, join Doreen from Salem, Mass to Paris, France. We're going to be connecting here on YouTube. It's going to be amazing. Thank you guys for joining the live. Appreciate you. Love and respect. And hit that subscribe and notification bell so you get notified when I go live, because I go live 5 days a week.